See quickly how MySQL workbench looks like. I'm double click on my MySQL workbench. It's already installed in my system. And this is a UI look what MySQL workbench offers. So as soon as you click on your GUI MySQL workbench page, so this is a screen that pops up. You can see different connection here. You can also create your own connection, or you can use an existing local host. So local host, it access your local machine, your own server for your own machine. So I already have a local instance which is a creator. I'll just double click on that, or just right click on open connection. As soon as you click on open connection, this is a prompt that appears on the screen. So I have to enter my password. You can also neglect every time in typing the password. In case, you can just click enable this save password in vault, or you can go ahead typing the password. This enables a connection with your server, that is your local machine. The server gets enabled. The port what has been installed is 3360. It is a port number for this local host. So click on OK. So once you click on OK, the server gets enabled, and this is the screen what appears as soon as you enable your local host. We have different panes here. You have an output pane, you have an information pane, you have a navigator pane, and you have where the query pane, and these are the context help and snippets. So let me just quickly give you a rough view on what each pane is capable of. So this is a navigator pane. It has all performance of the schema. It gives a detailed description of what all schemas we have. Schema is nothing but the database we have it in our SQL. So in simple database is nothing but the search what you do on Google. So Google brings back with a lot of information, so it's fetching from many databases which is already stored. The same way we can create our own database, and you can run through the queries. So this is a place where you write your query, and in case you want to have to write a new query, this is the action you have. You can click on create new SQL tab query. So it creates a query for you. You can go ahead writing the query here. And in case you want to store your query in a particular folder, you want to save your query. So these are the two important things used for execution of your query. And once you execute, you can see the actions in the output pane in case if the query has an error or the query is successfully executed. And these are the snippets. You can hide and create your own snippets, your own actions. And this is a snippet pane, and these three are used to hide your any of this navigator. You just want to see only query pane, you want only the output pane, you can utilize all these three. And let's quickly get into creation of a database and how to import a table, or how to import an Excel file inside SQL, and also perform different operation, how to export an SQL query into an Excel file. Again, we'll quickly have a look through. So just creating database, we have two types. Either you can write the query and execute, or just go to this navigator pane and just right click on create schema. So schema is nothing but it's creating your database, and give the relevant name for your database. Database names are case sensitive. It accepts only lowercase characters. So here I go create my database name as employee. Click on apply. So on the background, this is the algorithm that is running, or this is a query that has been running. I can also write the same query and execute, or go with an automatic way of creating a database. Click on apply. So once the query is applied, it shows a message that query is successful. Click on finish. You can check in the output pane as well the changes apply to employee, so that there's a database created. You can just expand and see how the database looks like, what are the contents inside the database. the database have different tables, we can have views, we have stored procedures, we have function. Currently we don't have any tables inserted or created inside. We may also create new tables under this particular database. So here I'm not going to show creating tables. Instead, let's export an Excel file into an SQL. So this is a new query tab I have already opened. Now let's quickly export an Excel into the SQL. So just right click on the table option, and we have an option called table data import wizard. It helps you to import all the Excel files into an SQL and browse the path where you have your file. I already have a sample file from Kaggle. It contains all the employee details, and it's a CSV format, was only supported for the import. And just click on open. Based on the size of the file, the time to import the data also will increase accordingly. Now click on next. So we have an option here, use from existing table, or in case you want to create a new table, or you can also choose the database where you want to import this new Excel file to. So I have already my database employee. You can also rename your table accordingly. So it automatically fetches the file name what we given for the Excel. So here my Excel file is employee details. So I'll click on employee details. So click on next. So once it is done, you can also change your data types for each of the columns you have in your Excel. I'm not getting too elaborate on this. Let's quickly start importing the Excel to SQL. Then click on next. So this is the option, it is going to prepare for import. Just click on next and the import starts. So on the background you can see what is happening. So it is creating a table. You can see the query what is involved creating a table. So if I'm going to write all these things, this will be the length of the query, whereas it is automatically done by the system. It is creating a table inside the employee database. The table name is employee details, and all the column names and data types are mentioned here. And so it is running in the background. Once the import is completed, you can see the import is done. So in the meantime, let the import happen. Let's see if once the import is done, you can see it appears inside the table. You can quickly refresh and see if because the query is already running on the backend. So I'm just clicking on the refresh icon here, and if you just expand, you can see already the employee details is getting uploaded into your SQL. And you have three icons here. This is for information, this is to have a setting for a table. This takes you to the query pane of this employee details. So already it is getting uploaded. Simultaneously you will be able to see how the import has happened from your Excel to SQL. You can just rush through and see it's still happening in the background and it's going on. Time here you can see the data import is still happening. Okay, so this is a query to view all your table contents. So select star from select as a class. Star denotes, there is an asterisk denotes all the data from the database. This is your table name. So let's quickly have a run through a query. Already the data is imported, so I'm not worried about the import that is happening in the background, because if I keep on refreshing, the data keeps getting added. In the meantime, we can have quickly a query execution. What all operations we can do inside an SQL, how SQL gives an output. So let's see running few simple select queries. So here we have select star from where do I need to run the query, from the database name. So it's pop downs employee dot employee details. If I want to use a function called order by, and if I want to arrange this particular file, in ascending or descending order. Currently you see the data rate or daily rate, it is not in any particular order. If I want to arrange this in any particular order, so let's give the column name daily rate. So just click on enter. Yeah, so we have two different execution. One is to execute the complete query whatever you write under this, or execute where the cursor stands. So I'll execute on only this particular line. Now you can see the difference. The daily rate is arranged in ascending order. By default, order by arranges the particular column in ascending order. You can also do by accordingly. You can select as AC or DESC. You can do ascending or descending order. Now you can do an next. Let's run through few more queries. Select star from the database employee dot employee details, where age is greater than where age is greater than 55. So order by, I just want to find which are all employees age is greater than 55. So I need to order by, I can order by employee number, or I can order by department, in which particular department we have the employees under 50 greater than 55 years. So order by, I'll take it as department. So in case I want a department in any particular order, like ascending or descending, so order by, in case if I don't specify, it will be in an ascending order. If I specify DSC, it goes in the descending order. Let's see how the query runs. Run the query to the cursor, and this is what I get. So now I have the employees greater than 55 years, and the department is also listed. Suppose I want to export this particular file into an Excel and I want to send as a report. You have an option here, click on export. Just click on export and give the file name. You can give it as age. Yeah, it extracts as a CSV file. Click on save and it's done. You can just have a refresher, and then let me just quickly go and see if it's done. This was the import that was happening. So once the import is done, it will show how many records got imported. In the back end it was importing. I was also running the query on the other end. So I saved my file as age.csv. Let's open the file. Let's see whether I have got on the query run properly. The age category, those people greater than 55 is listed here according to the department. And so department according to descending order. So the H goes in the last and S on the top. So I have my query run and Excel file is ready. Now let's get back to SQL and perform few more queries on this employee data file itself. You can add any number of tables inside this. Again, select star from, if I want to limit the view of the table by, I say I want to see only your first 5 records. So select star from employee dot employee details, order by, yeah, okay, it's not case sensitive, it is space sensitive. Order by, I want to see okay, age in the descending order. Say limit as a function. I want to see 10 values or 100 values, whatever. Just run the query. So here it shows the age by descending order, and it has only 10 records. No, it does not have all the records. I have limited by the 10 values. Using the limit condition, you will be able to do that. So apart from this, we can also perform this VLOOKUP. What we do inside Excel, SQL gives an optimal values for VLOOKUP. So for VLOOKUP, we need multiple tables. So we have a concept in SQL called joins, which is capable of joining multiple tables to one output. So let me quickly import one more table inside my database, employee. So this is my database, your table. Just right click on the table, click on table data import wizard, browse where you have stored your Excel file. So I have an file called attrition. Click on open. So click on next. So already it has a table called employee details. It asks if this is a database where you want to store. Are you fine with the table name attrition? Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. I'm just clicking on next. I click on next. So it starts importing and let it run on the back end, and quickly I'll come here and just refresh. You see already the attrition table is getting imported inside your SQL. Just click on the attrition, go to the query pane of attrition, and what attrition table has, it has only two columns, and it has an employee number and attrition. So we have a relationship between the employee details and the attrition details. Employee number is the relation we have between two tables. In case I want to identify, like we look up which all employee has left the org or had an attrition, yes, and which particular department or which particular age category, we can write a join query quickly. So let's see how join works, how multiple tables are merged. So I go with again with the select query itself, select. So let's write E. I want to call my table with a short name, with a single alphabet. So E dot what I need to fetch from the table. I need to fetch from the first table the employee number this, and E dot age. Once I run the query, you'll be able to understand what is this E dot. I want to see which particular department had an attrition, which employee, which age category. If according to the data set, you can just give any number of column values you want. So employee satisfaction, okay, just let me write environment satisfaction. Yeah, this looks good. And what data you want to read from attrition table. So I'll call attrition table with the alphabet A dot. From attrition, I just have the attrition rate from that particular table. So I need to know whether they had an attrition or not. That will do from that table. So from which table am I fetching the details? I have written E dot employee number. From which table do I get this employee number? So let me tell the table name as employee details. So employee details, instead of typing as employee details dot employee number, I'm calling that particular table by the alphabet E. And I have to join? I have to join the attrition table. I have my attrition table. I'll call that attrition table as A. And what operation I need to perform on? I need to perform E dot. I need to just compare both the table, like both the table has the same column value, that is by the employee number. That is when the employee table E dot is equal to E dot employee number. That is the column value we have. We are matching. Say like you have an user ID in two table, you need to fetch two user IDs. Based on the user ID, I'm just re-looking up. Yeah, this query is done. I'll just run to the cursor. Let's see what output I get. Okay, so in case if there is an error, it pops down. So there is no database that has been selected. So I haven't selected the database here. So let's click quickly see what's going on. So I have not given the database. I need to specify the database where the query has to run through. Can I use DB? Use employee. Let's see. Yeah. So now the query is fine. Earlier I had an error because I didn't specify which database I am going to run the query. So based on the age, based on the employee satisfaction, employee 1, the ID number 1 has an attrition and employee 2 has no attrition. I can also perform furthermore queries. I can refine and extract and filter the values. I can also export the same content to Excel as well. So this is how simple SQL runs all your queries. This is just a 0.1% what I could show you. There are plenty more operations that is possible with SQL. Thank you.